All right, so we are starting up with our chapter 2, which talks about arts of the Indus Valley civilization or the Indus Valley. Over here, you can see the script in cuneiform. I think that this is what we call it. And this is a deer like animal with somewhat has metal engravings to it. I mean, it has it, in itself has been engraved on a metal, and this resembles a tool-like structure, probably a plowshare. So, anyways, the art of the Indus Valley civilization emerged during the second half of the third millennium BCE. The forms of art found from various sites of the civilization include sculptures, seals, pottery, jewelry, terracotta figures, etc. The artists of that time surely had fine artistic sensibilities and a vivid imagination. Their delineation of human and animal figures was highly realistic in nature, since the anatomical details included in them were unique, and in the case of terracotta art, the modeling of animal figures was done in an extremely careful manner. The two major sites of the Indus Valley civilization along the Indus River, the cities of Harappa in the north and Mohenjo-daro in south, showcase one of the earliest examples of civic planning. Other markers were houses, markets, storage facilities, offices, public baths, etc., arranged in a grid like pattern. There was also a highly developed drainage system. While Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are situated in Pakistan, the important sites excavated in India are Lothal and Dholavira in Gujarat, Rakhi Gari in Haryana, Ropar in Punjab, Kalibangan in Rajasthan. In this picture, you can see a bust of a bearded priest. He's wearing a cloak with a beautiful flower-like pattern, and look at his beard, so um, well carved. His eyes seem to be closed. He has a pointed nose, broad lips, huge ears, and he also seems to be wearing a band on the head, or probably it's a cap or a cloak or a veil. We do not know exactly. Oh, he's also wearing something over his arms, probably a jewel. I'm so sorry, I was a little distracted since there has been some background noises. Moving ahead, we have stone statues. So, statues, whether in stone, bronze, or terracotta, found in Harappan sites are not abundant but refined. The stone sanctuaries found at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are excellent examples of handling three-dimensional volumes. In stone are two male figures. One is a torso in red sandstone, and the other is a bust of a bearded man in a soapstone, which is extensively discussed. This one. The figure of the bearded man, interpreted as a priest, is draped in a shawl coming under the right arm and covering the left shoulder. This shawl is decorated with trefoil patterns. The eyes are a little elongated and half closed, as in a meditative concentration. The nose is well formed and medium size. The mouth is of average size with close cut mustache and a short beard and whiskers. The ear resembles. Are there any whiskers? Okay, they're calling these whiskers. Funny. The ear resembles double shells with hole in the middle. The hair is parted in the middle. The plain woven fillet is passed around the head. An armlet is worn on right hand, and holes around the neck suggest a necklace. Are there any holes? No idea. Okay, probably this. I guess it's talking about. Um, this one talks about what bronze casting means. So, casting technique of the same nature are practiced even now in many parts of the country, having a continuous tradition. All right. You might have probably heard about the bell metal art in Chhattisgarh. That is one example. So there are like two types of iron. There is cast iron and there is pig iron, and then there is steel. So it depending on what you're making. Pig iron is like more soft. It's molten and then put in a mold, and then cast iron is entirely different thing. Burnt at a molted at a different temperature. You would probably see cast iron for making hard materials. So, speaking of bronze casting, the art of bronze casting was practiced on a wide scale by the Harappans. The bronze statues were made using the lost wax technique, in which the wax figures were first covered with a coating of clay and allowed to dry. Then the wax was heated and molten wax was drained out through a tiny hole made in the clay cover. The hollow mold thus created was filled with molten metal, which took the original shape of the object. Once the metal cooled, the clay covered was completely removed. In bronze, we find human as well as animal figures. The best example of the former being the statue of a girl popularly titled The Dancing Girl. Amongst animal figures in bronze, the buffalo with its uplifted head, back, and sweeping horns, and the goat are of artistic merit. Bronze casting was popular at the major sites of the Indus Valley civilization. The copper dog and bird of Lothal and the bronze figure of a bull from Kalibangan are in no way inferior to human figures of the copper and bronze from Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. You can see the statue of Mother Goddess made of terracotta, and this is a terracotta figurine. Metal casting appears to be a continuous tradition. The late Harappan and Chalcolithic sites like Daimabad in Maharashtra yielded excellent examples of metal cast sculptures. They mainly consist of human and animal figures. It shows how the tradition of the figure sculpture continued down the ages. Now we're talking about terracotta. These are some. This looks like a toy bull, and look at these human figures. They seem to. This looks like a family. There's male, there is female, and children, and probably a pet animal or a domesticated one. Moving forward, we're speaking about terracotta. The Indus Valley people made terracotta images also, but compared to the stone and bronze statues, the terracotta representation of human form are crude in Indus Valley. They are more realistic in Gujarat, sites, and Kalibangan. The most important among the Indus figures are those representing the mother goddess. In terracotta, we also find a new figure of bearded males with coiled hair, their postures rigidly upright, legs slightly apart, and arms parallel to the sides of the body. The repetition of this figure is in exactly the same position, would suggest that he was a deity. The terracotta mask of a horned deity has also been found. Toy carts with wheels, whistles, rattles, birds, and animals, games, men, and discs were also rendered in terracotta. Now we're speaking about stamps or seals. Look at this. This resembles a cow, goat, or a horse, probably a bull because it seems to have horns. Um, this seems to be cuneiform. Probably this one is a boat or a plowshare. We're not sure. it says this is a unicorn seal. Okay, a one-horned horse. Interesting. So, seals. Coming to it, archaeologists have discovered thousands of seals, mostly made of statite and occasionally of agate, chert, copper, faience, and terracotta, with beautiful figures of animals such as unicorn bull. This is not exactly a unicorn horse, this is a unicorn bull. That's a first. Then rhinoceros, tiger, elephant, bison, goat, buffalo, etc. The realistic rendering of these animals in various modes is remarkable. The purpose of producing seal was mainly commercial. It appears that the seals were also used as amulets carried on the persons of their owners, perhaps as modern day identity cards. The standard Harappan seal was a square plate by 2 by 2 square inches made from statite. Every seal is engraved in a pictographic script which is yet to be deciphered. Some seals have also been found in ivory. Okay, ivory is basically tusk procured from an elephant's, right? Then they all bear a great variety of motifs, most often of animals, including those of the bull, with or without hump, the elephant, tiger, goat, and also monsters. Sometimes trees or human figures were also depicted. The most remarkable seal is one depicted with a figure in the center and animal around. This seal is generally identified as Pashupati seal by some scholars, whereas some identify it as a female deity. Because we are not sure if it's a male or a female. This one, this is Pashupati. Some say this is Shiva. Some say this is a goddess, and there are animals all around it. And then there is a cuneiform script over here on the top, Pashupati seal or female deity. The seal depicts a human figure seated cross-legged, an elephant and tiger depicted on the right side. This is an elephant, here's a tiger. To the right side of the seated figure, while on the left side, a rhinoceros and a buffalo. Okay, a rhinoceros and a buffalo. This one looks more like a tiger. Okay, we're not sure which one means which because this is a highly contrasted black and white picture. I cannot tell exactly what is what. In addition to these animals, two antelopes are shown below the seat over here. Seals such as these date from between 2500 and 1900 BCE and were found in considerable numbers in sites such as the ancient city of Mohenjo-daro in the Indus Valley. Figures and animals are engraved in intaglio on their surface, square or rectangular copper tablets with an animal or a human figure on one side and an inscription on the other, or an inscription on both sides also have been found. The figures and signs are carefully cut with the burin. These copper tablets appear to have been amulets, unlike inscriptions on seals, which vary in each case. The inscription on the copper tablets seem to be associated with animal portrayed on them. Now we're coming to pottery. A large quantity of pottery excavated from the site enables us to understand the gradual evolution of various designs, motifs as employed in different shapes and styles. Indus Valley pottery consists chiefly of very fine wheel-made wares, very few being handmade. Plain pottery is more common than painted ware. Plain pottery is generally of red clay with or without a fine red or grey slip. It includes knobbed ware, ornament with rows of knobs. The black painted ware has a fine coating of red slip on which geometric and animal designs are executed in glossy black paint. Polychrome pottery is rare and mainly comprises small vases decorated with geometric pattern in red, black, and green, rarely white and yellow. Incised ware is also rare, and the incised decoration was confined to the bases of the pans. Always inside and to the dishes of offering stands. Perforated pottery includes a large hole at the bottom and small holes all over the wall and was probably used for sustaining beverages. Pottery for the household purposes is found in as many shapes and sizes as could be conceived of for daily practical use. The straight and angular shapes are an exception, while graceful curves are the rule. Miniature vessels, mostly less than half an inch in height, are particularly so marvelously crafted as to evoke admiration. Here is a long perforated pot. Then there are some pieces of pottery. Look at the different shapes. This looks like a candle or a diya holder. This one is a small pot. These are in circular forms. Probably they could store in pickle in it. And this can carry anything liquid like wine or water, right? Beads and ornaments. The Harappan men and women decorated themselves with a large variety of ornaments produced from every conceivable material, ranging from precious metals and gemstones to bone and baked clay. While necklaces, fillets, armlets, and finger rings were commonly worn by both sexes, women are girdled. Earrings and anklets, hoards of jewelry found at Mohenjo-daro and Lothal include necklaces of gold and semi-precious stones, copper bracelets and beads, gold earrings and head ornaments, faience, pendants and buttons and beads of statite and gemstones. All ornaments are well crafted. It may be noted that the cemetery has been found at Farmana in Haryana, where dead bodies were buried with ornaments, probably for ceremonial purposes. The bead industry seems to have been well developed, as evidence from the factories discovered at Chunhadaro and Lothal. Lothal was most probably the port city near Gujarat, present day. Beads were made of carnelian, amethyst, jasper, crystal, quartz, statite, turquoise, lapis lazuli, etc. Metals like copper, bronze, and gold, and shell, faience, and terracotta or burnt clay were also used for manufacturing beads. The beads are in varying shapes: disc shaped, cylindrical, spherical, barrel shaped, and segmented. Some beads were made of two or more stones cemented together, some of stone with gold covers, some were decorated by incising or painting, and some had design etched onto them. Great technical skill has been displayed in the manufacture of these beads. The Harappan people also made brilliantly naturalistic models of animals, especially monkeys, squirrels, used as pinheads and beads. Pinheads? Alright. Look at these beautiful jewelry, anklets, bracelets, pinheads, necklaces. Anklets, armlets, earrings. Quite interesting. Beadwork and jewelry items. It is evident from the discovery of a large number of spindles and spindle whorls in the house of the Indus Valley that spinning of cotton and wool was very common. Look at terracotta toys. This looks like a horse. Yeah? This resembles a fish. Spinning is indicated by fine the whorls made of expensive faience, as also of the cheap pottery and shells. Men and women wore two separate pieces of attire similar to the dhoti and shawl. The shawl covered the left shoulder, passing below the right shoulder. From archaeological finds, it appears that the people of the Indus Valley were conscious of fashion. Different hairstyles were in vogue, and wearing of a bead was popular among all. China bar was used as a cosmetic and face paint. Lipstick and collyrium eyeliner were also known to them. Many stone structural remains are also found at Dholavira, which show how the Indus Valley people used stone in construction. The artists and craftsmen of the Indus Valley were extremely skilled in a variety of crafts: metal casting, stone carving, making and painting, pottery, and making terracotta images using simplified motifs of animals, plants, and birds. Would you agree that the people of the Indus Valley civilization were great art lovers? Give reasons for your answers. Well, the answer is obviously yes. There are so many evidences that have been procured from these sites. We see different jewelries, pottery, terracotta toys, right? And also there were different stones. There's carnelian, there's quartz, and also they developed the art of metal casting. Moving ahead, what kind of similarities and differences do you find between present day terracotta and Indus Valley terracotta? So the present day terracotta seems to be more refined, or it's probably machine made. During that times they used wheel. So handmade ones were very rare. Even today, handmade terracotta is very rare. Probably at this time we might make use of a lot of things using terracotta, such as wall hangings and home decors and interior pieces. These used them for everyday utensils. So yeah, the discussion can be long. I'm just doing an overview. We can revise it later on once we have completed the book. And the third question asks us, seals were made of different materials, with the Indus Valley seals as a reference. Try to make seals with a different medium. Which are the animals that you would like to carve on your seals, and why? For the present day, so back then animals made much sense. Present day could be also about birds, or we can draw up animals on seals which needs greater attention from ourselves, or probably trees also can be included. We can pick up a more wider variety of things. Then, why do art objects that have survived tell us about the daily life of the people of Indus Valley civilization? So, we can say that the people at that time were very cultured, and they appreciated animals around them, and they had a written form of script. Probably there was rapid trade going on, as the seal suggests. Then the skills have been developed and technology has been advanced. They're using wheel to make potteries, and they were probably storing food for longer, so that we can extend it for longer time. And we can also notice that settlements have been created. Fifth question says that, imagine you were a curator working in a museum, and you have been given a task to create museum exhibits on Indus art. Collect illustrations of at least 10 objects made of stone, metal, terracotta produced and used during the Indus Valley civilization, and create this exhibit. This is more or less a very creative question. You can answer it. Okay, we are left with a page or two more. And is there more content on the top? No. Fine, we'll cover this. These are very specific objects. So the dancing girl, this one. Oh, look at her armlets. This looks like a series of rings which have been worn together. There's a necklace. She appears to be naked. Okay, so jewelry was more important than textile, we can probably notice. Her legs are longer, and so are her hands, more curvaceous. The body is not too angular. It, she gives very she gives a very feminine um, representation. Again, one of the best known artifacts from the Indus Valley is this approximately 4-inch high copper figurine of a dancing girl found in Mohenjo-daro. This exquisite casting depicts a girl whose long hair is tied in a bun. The bangles cover her left arm, a bracelet and an amulet on bangle adorn her right arm, and a cowrie shell necklace is seen around her neck. Her right hand is on her hip, and her left hand is clasped in a traditional Indian dance gesture. She has large eyes and a flat nose. Yes, the nose is flat. This figure is full of expression and bodily vigor and conveys a lot of information. Then we have a bull. Yep, you can see horns over here, and this is the snout of the bull. This is the tail. Okay, it has a small hump. The bronze figure of a bull from Mohenjo-daro deserves mention. The massiveness of this bull and the fury of the charge are eloquently expressed. The animal is shown standing with its head turned to the right with a cord around the neck. Yes, there's a cord, probably is a marker of indication of to whom it belongs to. Then there's a male torso. Okay, this one looks more angular, right? Uh, there are more muscle and more details, right? The shoulders also very angular in shape, not too curvaceous. In this red sandstone figure, there are socket holes in the neck and shoulders for the attachment of head and arms. Okay, here these are the socket holes. The frontal posture of the torso has been consciously adopted. The shoulders are well baked and the abdomen slightly prominent. Painted earthen jar. I wonder what they might have stored in these. But look at the beautiful leaf pattern on it. Found in Mohenjo-daro, the jar is made on a potter's wheel with clay. The shape was manipulated by pressure of the crafty fingers of the potters. After baking the clay model, it was painted with black color. The high polishing was done on a finishing touch. The motifs are of vegetal and geometric shapes. The designs are simple but with a tendency towards abstraction. We have seen this particular picture before, which showcases the mother goddess. The mother goddess figures are usually crude, standing female figures adorned with necklace, hanging over prominent breasts, and wearing a lion cloth and girdle. Lion cloth is basically a cloth made up of a single piece, right? The fan-shaped headdress, this one, with a cup-like projection on each side is a distinctive decorative feature of the mother goddess figures of the Indus Valley. The palette eyes and the baked nose of the figure are very crude, and the mouth is indicated by a slit here. Okay. This is a map which showcases all the most prominent Mauryan sites. Fine. I think we are done here. Thank you.